Hey, everybody. This is Chris Mosier from the Fan Film Podcast. And just giving you a heads up, the next two casts are actually going to be the experiences of Fanboy William McKenzie as he trekked out to a couple of the New York Comic-Cons this past October, one being the Big Apple Comic-Con, which was held at Penn Plaza Pavilion. And then the weekend after, there was the other Comic-Con at the Jacob K. Javits Center. So in this edition, he's got a quick interview with one of a DC Marvel artist. Plus, he explains his experiences, of course. And then the panel with Adam West and Bruce Ward is right at the end of this particular episode. Plus, hodgepodge of our usual babbling selves. So sit back, grab yourself a frosty beverage, and have yourself a listen.
Hey.
Yo, what's up, dude?
Hey, bitch. How you doing?
What's going on?
How was the big ride in?
That's my girlfriend burping in the back like me.
Yeah. Perfect couple.
It smells. Gross. Go away. She said there's this woman on the train next to her who smells like dirty vagina.
Oh, that's great. I so badly
want... It's refreshing, isn't it? I smell like chicken soup and like old batteries.
That's perfect.
It's like dirty vagina smells. And copper.
Yeah, it makes me really want to move.
All those indications that say, please cleanse yourself. With a douche of some sort.
It could be your
athletic event should have been going on.
It could be like her superhero persona. She can be like, I don't know.
She can be like a
vagina woman or something. Carry around like a...
Yeah, there's something to do with a douche of some kind.
Yeah, secret weapon of
sort
douche.
Of vaginal cleansing mascot.
Dun, dun, dun.
Vaginal cleansing mascot girl! Her pussy smells like chicken soup, copper, and brass.
Yeah.
All these other things I can think of that smell like funky vagina.
That's fantastic.
Mercury in it. Lots of it.
Perfect.
And an old shoe that was run over by a truck.
Adam West. A little bit softer now. Adam West. Adam West. Adam West. Adam West.
Me fat, making fun of me.
That's her job.
Get out of here.
I want to be on the show.
This is the He-Man Women Haters Club. Get out of here.
Tell her to grab a phone. She was there, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah.
I'm on the upstairs line right now. This is the special upstairs phone.
Oh, okay. Is it like a red phone with one button on it?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Batman phone, without the unnecessary dial on it. And it didn't have a dial on it.
I don't remember. I thought it was just that one button, but maybe
it was either that or it had I think it was like a rotary thing, and it had that red button in the middle of it for Batman or whatever.
Oh, okay, could have been.
Probably the rest of it you couldn't use though. It was like it was like a faux phone. Had to lift up Shakespeare's head there. Remember to get to the
right.
holes.
You hit the button. There they were.
Yes. The back of the $20 painting slides to the side.
Exactly.
And they all fell down the back.
Exactly.
I wonder if those poles really went that far down, or they're like this, maybe dropped like a foot.
I'm sure they dropped
like, poles.
As tall as they were.
Yeah. He's being really bothersome.
That's all right.
What the hell are you doing over here?
I want to be a part of the show.
You can't be a part of the show, because all you're going to do is make fun of me the whole time.
What's wrong with that?
No, that's not material. I thought we were supposed to discuss the convention, so I'm like stupid drunken mishap. God damn it.
So you went to a convention?
Yes, I went to
Javits.
conventions.
Oh, you went to two?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Hold on a second. What are you doing?
Slap that bitch around, would you?
Is that why there's always powder in the hallway?
Grab a Batman action figure and club her over the head.
She's shaking talcum powder everywhere. Close the door. I got to do show here.
You're not famous.
Did you hear that?
You're not famous.
So she went, fuck off.
Oh, all right.
Real nice.
Chris is famous, though.
Ah, thank you, darling.
She said, thank you. He said, thank you, darling. I want to suck your tits.
Yep.
He did. He told me.
No, I was thinking that.
Ah, he said he was thinking. I got her to close the door.
You have telepathy, my friend.
Yes. I knew it.
Yep.
I'm Santa Claus.
You have a gift.
Not only for useless comic and action figure knowledge, but also to predict perverted acts before they happen.
That's all right. My mind is in the same gutter as yours,
Yes.
so
I'm
we're
like
in good company.
A superhero. I'll be like a lame kind of a power, you know. It'll be like, all these guys have cool powers. Like I shoot laser beams out of my eyes, and I'll be like, well, I can predict perverted sexual things before they happen.
So what was the first con you went to?
Use. So I actually went to the first one was the I don't know if you remember from last year. Wizard took over the Big Apple Comic Con.
I know they've been going around some of the major cities, starting to get more up to Columbus.
Basically, yeah. Well, I kind of have a list here. Gareth Sheamus, he basically just decided to, I guess, kind of like incorporate some of the smaller shows and kind of give it the star power that Wizard could bring to it, you know, because they got all the money and all that stuff. So, from what I understand here, there's one in New England, Austin, Atlanta, Toronto, Anaheim, us in the city here, Philadelphia, and Chicago.
Isn't there one coming to Cleveland or one?
Oh, yes. Actually, more announcements soon for Cincinnati, more Big Apple, Nashville, Jersey, and Cleveland.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yes, these will all be hit by Gareth Sheamus, his tornado of Wizard magazine.
That's one I can actually go to, is Cleveland, because it's only
there you go.
4 hours away.
So anyway, I only went the one day on Saturday because I knew that's when all kind of like the panels would be for the the kind of bigger names and all that stuff. So I wanted to go get some audio for Saturday. I really didn't set out to really do much else besides get audio on Saturday. I was like, I'll walk around, get a couple books here and there, blah blah blah. And every time I do that, I end up coming home with like a stack of comics. And I'm like, I get a couple of like graphic novels and come home. And of course, it's like a huge, heavy thing I have to carry around all day in my bag. And I'm like, why did I buy all these fucking comics? I should have bought them at the end of the day. Yeah. So of course I'm hauling around like a goddamn pack mule with all this crap on my bag.
Big sweaty fanboy.
Yes, exactly. Which
you never see those at conventions, no, right?
Yeah, no, we're supposed to be like that.
Right,
That's
exactly.
kind of like expected. But anywho, kind of like the things to note. Last year the con was at Pier 94 in the city. Pier 94 is basically this gigantic kind of convention center that's located, on the docks down in Manhattan, in lower Manhattan by the Pier 94. Thus the name Pier 94. But anyway, it's kind of like a big spread out. It's almost kind of like a Jacob Javits Center, but not as big.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation. Have you ever been to the Javits Center?
Yeah, I went to the very first con that was there, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, 4 years ago?
So anyway, last year was at the Pier 94, but this year I don't know why they decided, but I guess maybe Gareth Sheamus' idea or Wizard or the powers that be, I don't know. But they ended up moving it to the previous home of Big Apple Con, which is the Penn Hotel, which is across the street from Penn Station. It's called the Penn Plaza Pavilion now. Okay. Back in the day, it used to be called the Penta Hotel. I remember going to my first comic convention there at the Penta Hotel ever. But anyway, so it's a smaller venue. It's basically like an average-sized hotel. So it's like 1, 2, 3. I think it's like 5 or 6 floors maybe, and the con is usually where the old one used to be just 2 floors. It was the first floor, which is primarily like they had some comic book guys down there signing, some movie promotion guys down there, some vendors down there, and then usually upstairs on the second floor was all your vendors. Pretty much all the star power. Some screenings were usually downstairs. Yeah. But I never usually went down to any screening. I just basically went there to get autographs, talk to people. But this time around, I decided to kind of explore a little bit, see everything it had to offer as far as being instead of being so closed-minded, which I usually am at cons. But I'm just like, I'm here to do this and that. That's it. I'm not doing anything else outside this itinerary. Like, I literally have an itinerary. I write it up the day before. I go over it. I just make sure the times are matching up. I'm such a dork. But these things I must do to bring this wonderful audio to you guys, guys out there.
The sacrifices you make.
Well, the good things I'll say up front. The good things were it's more personal, kind of more, warm environment, not as cold and stretched out and industrial, kind of like you're on like this conveyor belt.
Right, like assembly line, correct.
Exactly. That's like San Diego, kind of like you're on like the conveyor belt going through it. Like
that is correct.
We'll stop here for exactly 15 minutes. Do not take photos. No flash photography. Next stop, Lou Ferrigno. Don't make fun of him. Don't say, why are you here again? But anyway, my friend actually kind of made a joke about it. He's like, oh, you went to those conventions? I went, yeah. He goes, was Lou Ferrigno there? I'm like, of course Lou
Ferrigno's at every convention. He's at car shows, monster truck rallies, you name it, he's there.
I'm like, you know what else is always at cons besides Lou Ferrigno? He's like, what? I was like, comics. He started cracking up.
All right.
The man will appear at anything.
That's right.
He will.
So you make your money any way you can.
The star power was kind of in the medium range. There's a lot of people there that I actually didn't see that were supposed to be or were there that I didn't really know for sure.
Yeah. The
B. Majors, who was, this is his first appearance in 30 years, I believe,
wow.
at a convention of any sort. And so I was like, oh, sweet. I get to at least take a picture of Lee Majors,
Yeah.
Because, I love Bionic Man. I love Fall Guy back in the day, and all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, take a picture of the Bionic Man. This is awesome. So I show, and I'm expecting like the first floor to be like strictly just all Lee Majors, like an entire floor just for Lee Majors because he's like that big a star to everybody, But of course, I couldn't see anything. As soon as I walked in, the first thing I saw when I turned to my left is I saw Adam West and Burt Ward. They were signing on the left side, so that was cool. I'm like, oh wow, Burt Ward. I mean, I've seen Adam West before and all that stuff, but Burt Ward was actually there, and actually this was his first. This is his first appearance ever at a New York Comic Convention. So that was kind of a notable thing. Was
he flirting with all the ladies? He was a ladies' man back when he was wearing the green tights.
Yeah, but if you listen to the footage, I'm going to be supplying of the audio from the show. Basically, he's a pretty straight-laced guy now. Like, I don't know how he was back in the day, but now he's very, very proper, and he's all about like keeping things PG for the kids, and Batman and Robin should be fun and not like so dark and terrible and depressing and not to the extent it was back then in the 60s where it was just so goofy, it was ridiculous.
Right.
But not this terrible, awful, not for kids at all thing that it kind of is now.
Yeah.
It's kind of
overbrewed it.
Exactly. But kind of cool things that happened. I saw, remember Richard Anderson who played Oscar Goldman?
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was still around.
Yeah, I didn't know either. But I love the show, so I know who he is. And I'm looking around for Lee Majors, just like I said, and I couldn't find him. I was disappointed.
Isn't he older than Lee Majors?
His booth was there. Lee Majors' booth was there, and there was a whole bunch of flyers and free Bionic Man postcard things, and because Time Life is actually releasing for the first time the Bionic Man series on DVD.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Coming up, so it's going to be it's like 40 DVD set. It's going to be. So of all the episodes and all the seasons and all that stuff. So that'll be kind of cool.
Time.
Yes, exactly. So I think he was there kind of like pimping it, But I didn't see him, so I guess he took a break because all the shit was there.
Yeah.
But I didn't see him. But I was just about to head up the escalator to the second floor, and I kind of do a quick turnaround, and I see Richard Anderson holding up an Oscar Goldman figure.
Oh, that's cool.
Remember back in the day? Remember the center?
I had
Bionic Man?
I owned
used to have that?
Yep. With the plaid jacket.
Exactly, exactly. Kind of a funny reference back to that also. Remember in 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, look at this place, man. You got to see this through the eyes of a woman, What is she going to think when she comes in here? Oh, look, he's got 1 billion toys.
So what?
And more video games than a teenaged Asian kid.
Well, all right.
Is that the $6 million man's boss?
It's Oscar Goldman.
Why do you have that?
That's worth a lot of money. That's much more valuable than Steve Austin.
I love that. I love that quote. And he's like, only the fanboys would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Patty always makes fun of me. So that's you. Like, yeah, that's me minus the virginity problem. Thank God.
That's right.
I'm pushing 40. I'm almost there. I'm going to be 36.
You're pushing it.
Almost. I'm getting there, man.
You're 4 years away.
Dude, I'm getting there.
It's not pushing.
Yeah, that's 4 years. It's quick.
Okay. Talk to me when you're 38 or 39. Then you're pushing.
Dude, I got 1 foot in 40, and I got the other one in the grave, man.
Well, 1 foot needs to stop getting drunk.
I know. Next thing I'm going to fall down like flight Irish.
Yeah.
Fell down a flight of stairs at a Jamaica station one night. I was running to catch a train, and I had like a giant liter, like a pint in my hand, and I was running to catch the train, and I fell, and I had like six or seven steps. I rolled. I dropped my beer, and I was more pissed about that. I got up, and like everybody was looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm okay." And I'm like, "Fuck, my fucking beer." I was all pissed off. I managed to save like a quarter of it, so I sadly, limped my way on.
You lost your pride, but you saved a quarter of beer.
Hell with my body.
Good job.
There's beer to be saved. Exactly, man. I'm a professional. I don't fuck around. But so anyway. Made my way up to the second floor and did the usual second floor stuff, did the comic shop and did the action figure stuff, did the, looking to see who's there, the artists and stuff like that. They kind of switched things around. They kind of put all the artists on, it was actually kind of like on the first floor, some on the second floor, whereas last year it was all on the second floor.
Yeah.
But this time they had a special kind of like an artist wing, I guess you would call it, maybe. It's kind of like an alley or a wing or whatever the fuck you would call it. And all the guys were out there. So I went upstairs and, did my comic thing, and I came back down to go check out the artists. And I really, believe it or not, I didn't see a lot of the artists. I saw a lot of their name plaques there, but they were kind of gone. The people I did see...
Jesus.
Now eventually you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right?
What interviews did you get, or am I going too far? Am I jumping ahead?
Not many.
No?
I actually walked around Artist Alley kind of hoping to get... I was planning to do kind of like I'm going to ask every single artist here what their opinion on fan films is. Yeah. What do you like about it? What do you hate about it? Do you watch them? Do you know what they are? And I only got one person. Everybody was either like signing and busy.
Obviously you wouldn't.
There was apparently some black hole there. They all just kind of jumped in it.
Yeah.
And they all said, "Oh, Will's coming. Let's get the fuck out of here." They all just jumped in this black hole. But anyway, so I was looking for kind of like the friendlier looking people. Everyone kind of had like a little bit of a puss on their face, and I was like, I'm not going to go talk to them right now.
Right.
But Mike McKone was there. Mike McKone is kind of one of the newer guys in comics. He, I don't know if you read any of the old, well, it's not old now, but it's kind of newer stuff. But he did kind of like the return of the Titans, Teen Titans. He did with Superboy. For the first time on the team, he kind of launched that book. He was the artist on that book.
Yeah.
Then he went on to do some newer stuff now. But that was like his first big break was the Teen Titans stuff.
Gotcha.
Actually, no, correction. I stand corrected by myself, actually. He first came to fame from doing Exiles for Marvel.
Okay.
You ever read Exiles series at all?
Nope.
Exiles was really cool, actually. It was kind of like ahead of its time. It was kind of like... take like the X-Men and make them into like a quantum leap team where they go from like reality to time and time to reality, and they do different things and they become different people in different dimensions, and they'll see like Wolverine in the year like 44, 26, and the X-Men from that year and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. It's almost like an Elseworld.
So they travel through the Marvel time string.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. But he did that. I thought that was a great run he did on that book. I think kind of fell off. I didn't see him until the Teen Titans thing. But he was there, and he looked to be a friendly dude.
We're here live at Big Apple Comic Con with artist Mike McKone. I just wanted to ask him his feelings on fan films, particularly when he saw the Batman Dead End.
I thought it was incredible. It was the costume in particular is what kind of impressed me. I'm sure you're working on a very limited budget, but correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the best Batman costume on film.
What's that? That one, of course.
One, yeah. I don't know where the big studios go wrong when they're spending a fortune on something that.
That's what me and my partner say all the time. Yeah. We're always like, okay, look at a comic book. you see Batman. What's he wearing? Is he wearing a suit of armor? Is he wearing bat nipples? Is he have metal razor blades coming out of his head or something? No. He has the tights and he has the cape, and it works in the comics. But the thing is, it always doesn't translate. Sometimes you think about X-Men, for example, Wolverine from Gen 2 Wolverine with the yellow envelope. Sure. Think about how silly he would look wearing that. You know what I mean? But he did a great job as Wolverine, I think. But
I think the attitude of the actor plays a big part. You can't really get a cheesier costume than Superman. But Christopher Reeve totally made it work.
He rocked it.
He wasn't embarrassed at all. He totally believed in it.
Totally.
He sold it.
I'm kind of amped. Do you watch Smallville at all?
Not really. Why?
But
actually, some of my friends work on it. So
he's actually finally going to put the suit on this season. Really? So they kind of showed a glimpse of it, and unfortunately, it's the one from Superman Returns. So I was kind of hoping for the primary, but you get what you can. Stuff like that.
That's a strange cut on that costume.
But I'm telling you, if you really liked Batman Dead End, I have a lot of friends who've done films, fan films, and they're like extraordinary. So if you'd like, I could give you a couple names to check out. So you want to write them down, or one in particular. I don't know if you have a phone with you for internet or not, but
we got no signal down here.
Oh, okay, no signal. They got you down here with no signal.
I know.
Oh, Jesus. Page one is Grayson. Grays.
I saw Grayson.
Grayson's cool stuff. Yep. Yeah. So, I'm just kind of coming off the top of my head. I don't know if you're into Ghostbusters at all.
My girlfriend,
there's one called Return of the Ghostbusters, which is like extraordinary. It's really, really good.
We just watched Ghostbusters 2.
Even though they used the slime guns to shoot, but it was pretty cool.
It's just Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's in it.
Bill Murray. I mean, do you want to hear an urban legend about Bill Murray?
Sure.
So in Union Square Park in New York, this guy is just kind of sitting getting lunch, and all of a sudden, these hands appear from behind him, just covering his eyes, and this voice whispers in his ear, "No one will ever believe you." And he turns around and it's Bill Murray, and he just walks away.
He's such a weirdo. It's great. Because he's exactly the way he is in movies. He's a goof.
Yeah.
One minute he was like straight, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't know how you get down, man, but we go party. Me and this guy over here, we get together later on. He just like whips out that weird stuff all of a sudden.
Yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but I actually wanted to ask, are you Scottish?
Am I what, sir?
Are you Scottish?
I'm English.
But
I'm from Newcastle.
I thought I heard a bit of a brogue because I'm so,
I was raised in Newcastle.
Yes. Is that on the border kind of? So the accent kind of?
It's 30 minutes from the border.
Oh, okay.
So it's a kind of a crossover.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So do you have anything you'd like to plug maybe? Upcoming projects or?
Well, I'm drawing a Adventures Academy for Marvel each and every month. So it's one of the lesser known Avengers titles. We're not one of the big boys, but
those are my favorite kind of, like the offshoots. The not so popular ones. You know what I mean? Like the underdogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I love Spider-Man, I love Batman, I love all these mainstream guys, but to see like, a solo of like the Tarantula. You know what I mean? Like something really random.
Yeah, we got a bunch of characters.
Batroc, the leader.
Tiger, Hank Pym,
Quinzel. Right there. Yeah. It's beautiful, man.
Thanks so much.
It's really cool.
Thank you. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So.
Wow. So here, I'd just like to thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And for sharing your feelings about fan films and all that stuff.
No worries.
And I'm glad you saw some of these. So I was like, okay, that's cool audio, good start, for the day, for the interviews. So I'm expecting to catch other people, and I didn't really catch anybody. Caught a couple of people. Some of them weren't really willing to do any audio about fan films because they, didn't know enough about it. Right. Or they just didn't want to talk about it at the time, or whatever the hell that meant. I don't know. I'm not going to name names. But there were a couple of people. One of them was kind of
I want names, and I want them now.
No, one of them was kind of a dickhead, and he's like a major artist, and I'm not going to say who he was.
No, that's fine.
And I was kind of taken aback because I love his stuff, and I'm like, now I have to fucking hate his work. Why does he have to be a dick? Now I'm going to have to hate his stuff. But it'll save me money every month. I know that.
Yeah.
It'll save me money every Wednesday because everybody knows New Comic Book Day is Wednesday. I thought it was funny on Big Bang Theory they actually brought that up.
Where are you going?
I'm taking you home.
Oh, but I'm not going home. It's Wednesday. Wednesday's New Comic Book Day. We have to go to the comic book store.
So, yeah, I really didn't get
anybody, and I was kind of bummed out, and I was, saying to myself, well, at least I could try to find this Batman thing. Because about that time was the time that the panel was going to start with. It was Burt Ward and Adam West, and they're basically reuniting for the first time in a while to talk about some Batman memories, which you're going to hear on the audio. But it's kind of a funny thing actually happened before that. I was looking for the line, because I knew it was going to be huge. I said, this is, Batman and Robin getting together after all these years, and it's a big deal. Burt Ward hasn't been to a con in like 30 years or whatever, or hasn't been to a New York con at all. So I'm like, this is going to be huge. So I'm looking for this gigantic line, and I'm not finding it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where is this? And I'm asking people, do you know where this is? They were like, I think it might be downstairs, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I went downstairs, and I'm looking, and I didn't really see I saw this small crowd starting to kind of, like, gather. There's like 15 or 20 people all heading towards the elevator. And I'm like, all right, well, this looks promising. Let me, because I know sometimes on the third and fourth floor they have the bigger stars go upstairs. Mm-hmm. So before I get in the elevator, I'm standing with this group of people, and they all look like the right kind of people, I'm like, these people, and I'm like listening to people talk about things, or talk about Batman, and I don't hear this voice, like, as on my left ear, I said, I'll be damned if I don't know who that is. I know that voice. I thought it was somebody I knew. Personally, I thought it was one of my old professors from college. It sounded really familiar, so I turned, and I'm like looking at Adam West. He's standing right next to me on my immediate left side, and he was actually talking to somebody else. I was going to go, hi, Mr. West, I'm a big fan. How you doing? But I decided to kind of play it pro style, and I kept my cool, and everybody piled into the elevator. And then on the right side, I hear this other familiar voice. So I turn to the right side, and it's Burt Ward. Yeah. He's on my right side. So I'm sandwiched between Batman and Robin here, and we're on the elevator. And it's funny because we're heading up to, third, fourth floor, and I start hearing Wes being like, "Oh, who's touching me in the elevator?
Oh, you having homoerotic fantasies?
Fresh. He's like, who's getting fresh or whatever?" And everybody started laughing. And then Burt Ward's like, "I'm glad it wasn't me."
It's me, old chum.
Yeah, exactly. Was that you, chum? Did you touch my bum? So we got to the panel. I actually felt kind of cool because the bodyguards didn't know it wasn't part of his entourage. Part of his entourage was there, so I kind of basically walked in with his entourage and him and Burt Ward, and I'm like feeling like I'm all important. I'm kind of walking beside him, like, yeah, that's right. I'm down with Batman. Batman's my boy.
Introduce the iconic Burt Ward and Adam West.
Stand here for a moment. Admire my incredible wife for me to see. Thanks,
Guys, we're going to keep it real by the numbers. If you want to just line up behind the microphone, any questions for Mr. Ward, Mr. West, we'll get right to it.
Wait, did you say icon and legend?
I did say icon and legend. You can't stress it enough, so icon. Which one is the icon and which is the legend? Or are you both?
Oh,
yeah. But I would ask that you guys don't use flash photography during this, and no videotapes on YouTube. I should have said that upstart. Sorry, I didn't. Those will be the last ones, and we'll shoot with questions. Who's got one?
I got one. I'm sorry. Well, the only thing I can say is, kind of a regular guy would be, all three of them, of course. And the various serves of my utility belt, you know this. Burt?
Oh, I like working with all the actors. All the guest stars were really cool. I mean, for me, it was like a big kid in a candy store with so many great actors and actresses, and I enjoyed working with Adam too. He was kind of like a mentor and showed me all the ropes, so to speak, and constantly got me in trouble. But other than that, we had a great time.
Thank you. I'm older. Somebody else?
Afternoon, gentlemen. I'd like to congratulate you. I've got a 4-year-old nephew. He's got every Batman DVD made in the last 40 years. But his favorite is your movie. Speaking of Catwoman, why were there 3 different Catwomen? Why didn't they keep doing more?
Well, first of all, Julie Newmar was not available for the movie that we did. After the first season, we did a full-length feature. And so they decided they had to cast someone else. And Lee and Merriweather came along. She was wonderful. And she got the job. Then we realized that we should have somebody like Eartha Kitt, a black Catwoman. Someone with her great abilities and talent, and that's how that happened. You know.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Burt. Hi, Adam. Welcome. Thank you for coming today. 2 quick questions. First thing, Adam, I absolutely love you on Family Guy. Are you going to be participating in more of that? Hilarious. And for both you and Burt, do you keep any of the memorabilia from any of the shows that you work on?
Only things that I could steal. But they were very nice to us. I was able to leave the studio with some, rather nice things. Wayne Manor, the Batcave, and the truck of my car. But I have some stuff, yeah. And Family Guy, I love it. It's so absurd. And I like that approach to comedy. Seth and I are good friends, the producer who created Family Guy. And we just finished our Thanksgiving show. And I'm looking forward to you folks and your reaction to it because I think it's going to be enormously funny. Thank you.
Burt, I met both of you back in the 80s. Burt, I'm from the fall. Kevin Center. I sent you a videotape years ago.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys again. Wondering, any plans you guys get back together to do any kind of work as far as live action? Besides the animation.
Sure. I think so. I know that's not exactly a very clear answer, but in addition to being an actor, I'm also an animal rescuer. My wife and I operate the largest giant-free dog rescue in the world, called General Giants, and we've rescued 12,000 dogs in the last 16 years. What's kind of interesting is that we've done something that no one else, to our knowledge, in the world has done, is that we have no cages. Our animals all live communally together without fighting, and they live in our home with my wife and I and my daughter. So at all times I have 50 or more giant-free dogs in my home. And because of the uniqueness of the situation, I recently signed to start a reality show based upon the dog rescue. And as you know, all these reality shows have people who comment and people who, kind of analyze the situation. And I'm hoping to get my dear friend Adam to be our commentator.
You never told me. Where's my agent, Fred? Money. I think it's a great thing that Burt and his family are doing with those dogs, believe me. I myself rescue, I have octopus.
What's the plural?
Endangered octopussy. always a wondrous thing. By the way, Batman is back on, or will be, I think, maybe in February of 2011, something like that. Yeah. And it's on Hub.
Discovery Kids channel. It's changing me a little bit on.
Is that it?
Yes.
Well, this is amazing because you can't get rid of us.
You don't want to.
Obviously, you guys must have a great connection to these iconic characters. I was just wondering how you felt about the tone of the Batman just series of movies or TV products or whatever, shifting from what it was in the 60s when you guys made your landmark stamp on the character to what it is now, where it's obviously very different.
Everything is different now, I think, or most things in entertainment. Our movies and the television show wasn't really enhanced so much by explosions and blood and all of the computer-enhanced kind of things. They have the Dark Knight. Think of it this way. I'm the Bright Knight. So, it's apples and oranges. There's a lot of money and talent and so on associated with the newer movies. And I'm just crying every night that I didn't get the $20 million.
I enjoy the new films. However, I enjoy our series better because I'm more kind of family-oriented, so I like a show that could appeal to all ages. When the first of the Batman movies came out, they marketed it, the one with Michael Keaton, as family entertainment. There were parents that took their small children to see it and ended up seeing Batman killing as many people as the villains, and they were very upset by it. So I enjoyed our show. I mean, these new films are wonderful technically, and they're beautiful to watch, but I kind of liked ours because ours everybody could see and everybody could have fun.
Hi, thank you.
I was just wondering, I figured this would come up eventually. Figured I'd get out of the way. Is there any way that you could use your legendary and iconic star power to push Fox and Warner Brothers to make a deal so that we can get this on DVD? Better than bootleggers making all the money, right?
You're right. A lot of Chinese people. Speaking of that, did you know that Burt and I are second and sometimes first with Lucy in China? It's wonderful to think that our show can be enjoyed by peoples of different cultures like that. And I walked into a hotel room once in Hong Kong, and the houseman turned on the television, and there we were, in China. And Batman was speaking way up there, and Robin was way down there. We got something a little mixed up, but it was very amusing. But it is amazing that Batman our show has been around, that's over 40 years for Pete's sakes. And it's still enjoyed by people, so we're probably the luckiest two actors in the world. Because how many actors are able to create a part and have the opportunity to do something that becomes iconic? Did you use the word iconic, James? In this business. And Burt and I are just blessed. We had the opportunity. You people have been so gracious and good to us over the years. It's enough, not to have the 20 minutes to do the movies, but to have the warmth and the affection that you show us. It's terrific.
Hello, Adam and Burt. I'm a longtime fan. To speak
speaking of Chinese people, what was it like to work with Bruce Lee on the set?
Well, I knew Bruce Lee before he got the part of Kato. We actually lived in the same condominium complex, and we were friends, and we actually worked out together sometimes. And I remember when before the show came on, before Kato got the part of Kato, that I would go with his wife Linda, and at the time Brandon, who was like 6 months old, down to Chinatown. Of course, he knew all the right stuff to order, so it's always fantastic dinner. We did spar, and in fact, there was quite a crazy thing that went on after he appeared on our show. It was the same executive producer, so he thought, what a great way to introduce this Green Hornet show, to bring it onto our Batman show. But they wanted to have a fight scene, but they wanted to make sure that since we were both good guys, that nobody looked like they got the upper hand. There was a lot of publicity afterwards that supposedly I was worried about fighting with him, and it wasn't true, because I actually sparred with him for months before we ever did that thing on the show, in a much rougher way than what we did on the show. But he was a very nice guy, a very talented guy. He worked out incredibly. He worked out 8 hours a day. Yeah, and he worked every single day, 8 hours a day of training. And he was really good, really fast, and very mentally sharp, which is equally important. So it was a lot of fun working with him. Okay. Who else got a question?
Adam over here. No, to your left. Adam, hi.
Oh, there he is.
Adam, I know that Warner owns the Batman characters while Fox owns the TV series itself. Is that split ownership the reason it hasn't come out on DVD yet?
Is the ownership split?
Yeah, because Warner has the characters, but Fox owns the series.
It's very complicated. The contractual situation between Fox and Warner's is difficult to understand. Because, for example, in the mix is the late Bill Dozier, our executive producer's company called Greenwood, which you've seen on the screen. And they're involved as well. But right now, I think the focus is narrowed to Warner's and Fox, and how they're going to, if you will, divide the spoils. Burt may go with Fox, I may go with Warner.
Yeah.
A divorce thing.
What I heard is that there is actually quite bad blood between the two companies. That when Rupert Murdoch came into New York, or attempted to bring Fox into New York, that Warner Brothers, because of its powerful connections and having been here for so many years, actually kept Fox from being on the air for 5 years. And it created such bad blood between the two of them that their attitude is they don't even care about the money. They just don't like each other. And so, to be honest with you, I don't know if ever that they're going to release that because of these two companies, but that's what I've understood.
Burt, I got a phone call last week, so maybe I can update all of us just a fraction. And in that call from Warner's, I was told that they're very close to a decision now, and to the release of our series on DVD. Who's this man in the aisle, sir? Are you? There's an intruder. Who is this man? Hello. Who are you, sir? What?
Hi. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Barely. Yes. What is it?
What was it like working with Joe McKone?
Who worked with Joe McKone?
The siren. I thought you did on one of those episodes.
You're right. At that time, Joan Collins was so different from what she portrayed on the later series. She was quite introspective, very sweet, and she wasn't one of them sirens, you know. It's difficult, and they'll slap you around. She was quite nice. And that's all I can say about her. And I love to work with beautiful ladies. Don't you, Burt?
Yep.
You did very well with so many of those ladies. I wonder if I'm saying too much here.
You have to be polite to your guests that appear on the show.
Yes, you went out of your way to be gracious with ladies.
Well, you were my mentor.
Some of them wrote books about it. You wrote a book.
And you were one of the featured characters.
I know. I'll never forget. We had a great time, really, we did. It was hard work, 15 hours more a day, and the press always there, what they call the paparazzi today. But we loved the show, and we had the pleasure of working with some of the most wonderful characters. Actors who were great personalities, Cesar Romero, who else? Burt Burgess,
Meredith, and then and of course those are the ones that immediately most people know, but we also worked with some other great actors and actresses like Tallulah Bankhead, a famous actress, and George Raft, famous bad guy in the movies when I was a little kid.
Shelley Winters.
There was lots, Maurice Evans, a great Shakespearean actor. So many really talented people, so we were very fortunate.
And it gave us a chance to stand there, face to face with these people and learn, too. And it was a little frightening from time to time. You'd be with Maurice Evans, who would be speaking like English. Hello, madam. Oh, yes, it's a jolly good. And it would be difficult not to assume some of that, But it worked for Batman because I'm going to tell you something I've never said. I based my character on a couple of things. One of them was almost an outright imitation of Basil Rathbone as Sherlock Holmes. Because it was very quick. It was always musing, always terribly engrossed in whatever moment, and in a silly way, and on Batman. But a way that was believable to the kids. The second thing I used was the moment I pulled on that cowl, I got the sense memory of having played Batman as a kid. So I pull on the cowl, look at Burt, and say, "Come on, let's go play Batman and Robin. Come on, come on." And Burt would go, "Holy guacamole." When we get together on these shows or whatever, it always comes immediately back. We have separate lives. He's rescuing Great Danes, and I'm trying to rescue my reputation.
Well, also, we had a lot of fun on the show. We really did. Not all actors get along, but Adam and I had a great time, and I really, really have a fondness for him that I have great respect. So, and I did want to say one more thing. Adam had such a creative mind. He still does, such a creative mind. It's kind of almost disturbing, but it was really beyond brilliant.
Disturbed mind?
And he came up. How many of you remember the show in which he did the Batusi? People, because of that Batusi, there were people that were doing that and getting this Batman-style haircuts, women wearing these special Batman hairdos. And I'll never forget that I was so impressed with this Batusi that he did that I asked him, I said, "Adam," I said, where did you get the idea for the Batusi? I mean, this whole thing. I really was so impressed with that, and I don't know if you remember telling me what you told me about it.
No.
If you want, I can. That you had been out the night before.
No.
And that you were with some very lovely young lady, and that you were doing the horizontal mambo. And
Well, I think research is terribly important. But you're right. You know, when I saw that in the script, I had a place out at the beach in Malibu, a little apartment. And I was in my car driving into the studio to work, and I'm flipping through the pages of the script that we started that day. And I came to that part. Batman has to dance after getting a Mickey, a strange orange juice at the bar with Jill St. John. And I sat in my car, and some music came on. And for some reason, just reading that quickly, I was inspired by this music. It was Shirley Temple singing The Good Ship Lollipop. I figured if Batman had a Mickey, if he was slipped poisonous orange juice, that even Batman would suddenly have total abandon, which is almost an exercise they teach in acting classes. Oops. And so I decided that's what I do. Now, I don't know where all these moves came from, but you have to have a kick to do it. But I got out of that, didn't I? But you know, when I see people like John Travolta stealing my moves, it's enough of that version.
Who else has a question?
Mr. West, Mr. Ward, first of all, I want to thank you both for making my childhood great. I grew up watching the show, and I actually have a story. My nephew, who's 6, is a big Batman and Robin fan, and I bought him the animated series, which you two did the voices of, and he loves it. He will not stop playing. He loves it very much. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I also grew up watching that animated show when you two did the voices. And again, every time I look at it, I think about when I was 5 or 6 years old watching that show. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, folks, any other questions? We have a photo session coming up, so yes, sir.
I wanted to ask you, for documentaries and interviews that I've seen both of you do, and especially as you're both experienced together, the Batmania, the intensity of thing that you guys had in the 60s during the show, how did that teach you in relation with other adults, your contemporaries? And then also, how did it affect your sense of responsibility for people if they saw you as a rather than not?
Oh, very important question. Well,
when Adam and I made personal appearances, then at that period of time, we were making them in costume. And one of the things that would happen is we would go to an appearance, and maybe somebody would come up and say, "Oh, take off your mask" or something. I'm going to, take a picture with you without your mask on. But we always actually protected the characters for the kids. So we never did anything that in any way ever harmed the characters for children. And occasionally I have people that come up and make comments like, say, "holy expletive," and I won't do that, Adam won't do that, because we have too much respect for what we did. And so that was part of it. We really did meet so many people. I know that I've tried to keep track of appearances. I actually traveled for 25 years on the road making appearances, doing as many as 300 cities a year, which is really rough on you. But it was always fun meeting people, and it's funny because when, in my case, and I'm sure probably in Adam's case, when we'd be introduced to someone, or maybe they knew that we were coming to town, maybe they didn't know, but other celebrities, people are like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you." But when you say Batman to people get a twinkle in their eye. People get a smile on their face because we were the very first show that did something very different, which was that we didn't just play it on one level. And before Batman came out, when you watch shows on television, a cop shows, and all they were like, the police doing this, and Adam 12 and all that stuff. And then you got the medical shows and the Ben Casey and everything. But Batman was the first time that people actually, as actors, played with our audience. So we played it seriously for kids. So they saw it as hero worship. The adults saw the nostalgia of the comic book. But the teenagers and the people your age that were there at the time, they saw it as a special kind of inside humor where we actually taunted and teased our audience. And people were nuts for that. We actually made ABC the third network. There was only two. CBS, NBC were the major ones. ABC was like an independent network. But because of Batman and Bewitched, ABC became the third network. Sure.
Can you think back to any time you were doing a stunt or a scene and you said, I don't feel well, I'm too sick, I don't want to do this stunt or this scene?
Oh, yes, daily. I mean, there were moments every day when you were so tired or pushed the wrong direction, or maybe you had an argument with a director who didn't quite understand what we were doing, that, I thought, I don't know, Burt, well, Burt, I know you had moments too.
Yeah, I had a lot of moments because, see, the thing is, Adam was much smarter than me. Okay? Adam was much smarter than me. He had a stunt that basically looked like Adam. So, and because of the cowl, when all there was dangerous stuff, the stunt man would do it.
I don't think so, Burt. No. I have no stunt man.
Yeah. And in my case, they hired somebody as a stunt man who did not look like me at all. I mean, his nose was the same as Jimmy Durant's. And as a result of that, they always used me. And I would constantly be asked, I knew I was in trouble. Here's what you know. I knew immediately I was in trouble when I called into the scene. I had to get in the Batman wheel or get in the Batboat, and I saw the stuntman there, and I didn't see Adam. Okay, I knew there was. And what I would often do is I'd try to talk to the director. I said, well, look, why is it that Adam's stuntman? Oh, because it's abuse. Yeah, but why didn't you have my stuntman? Well, because he doesn't look like me. You have a small man. And I said, but I just want to digress here for a minute. Tell you something about stuntmen. They are fantastic guys, but they make their living. The more broken bones they get, the higher their rate goes up. Okay, so they're fearless. Okay, if they get hurt, that's more money the next time around. So for me, it's like, how do I survive when I have to work with the stuntman? Okay, and then I would, of course, this is day one. Coming out of the Batcave in the Batmobile. I mean, here's this stuntman driving. He says, "You better hold on." I said, "Okay, well, why don't I have to hold on?" Well, because we're going to get up to about 55 miles an hour, and I have to make a sharp turn. I said, "That's pretty fast. It's dirt road." And he said, "Yeah, we got to do that." I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, where's my stuntman?" "Oh, he's over having coffee with that." I said, "He's having coffee with that." You know what I mean? And I looked over there and waved to him. And that first shot, believe it or not, came out, and I made a turn. I mean, the stuntman did it perfectly. But I didn't know this. Nobody knew this. My door flew open on the right-hand side, and I was just really lucky that as I'm falling out the door because of the centrifugal force, I was able to catch my pinky finger around the gear shift knob on the thing, and I held on, pulled my hand out my finger out of the joint. I had to go in and have that reset, and came back that afternoon. And the first 5 of the 6 days we did this show, I was in the emergency hospital. I did not think I was going to survive the first show. That was the first day. And another day, I was coming out of a burning car with that was the one with Phil St. John, and I was was actually supposed, and she dressed up like Robin, but they used me because she didn't look, that much like me. And I'll never forget, there's this burning car, and Frank Gorshin he and I are supposed to be in this burning car, and they said, Burt, man, you get down in there first, and then Frank's going to come down above you, and when we tell you to, you're going to come out of the burning car, okay? I said, why am I the bottom? Well, it's the way it works out. We got to have Riddler come out first. So anyway, he comes out, and the car's burning, okay? And he comes out and jumps off. I come out, and it just started to get ready to jump off. The car blew up. And I thrown to the ground, and I got second-degree burns in the back of my neck. And there I am. And the guy at the hospital, the doctor there, oh, hey, good to see you again. So it was that kind of a thing, and then there was the end of the first show where Batman's dancing with Jill St. John while I'm waiting in the Batmobile, and these fireworks go off, and they said, now, Burt, this is a one-shot deal with these fireworks. Whatever you do, you don't move. This is costing too much money. We're one shot. So the fireworks go off, and in the Batmobile, supposedly the Riddler presses a button that is actually a firework button, but it's a starter button, supposedly. And these fireworks are burning through my cape. I have second-degree, third-degree burns in my arms, burning through my shorts. That was really unpleasant. That was doctor examining. And back in the hospital again. So it was a dangerous show. It really was dangerous. And then, of course, Adam pointed out to me, be careful with the special effects guy. Otherwise, well, they tend to drink while they're on the job. The guys that do the explosions, oh, yeah.
And that concludes this edition of the Fan Film Podcast. Join us next time as Fanboy Will continues his odyssey down Comic Convention Lane at the Javits Center convention held in October. And I able to get an interview with Corey Feldman. Actually, I think it was a group interview, so it was a bunch of reporters. And also the crew from a web series called Vixens of Virtue. Not 100% sure what that is, so he'll clue us in what that is. Also, he got the panel, Reese panel, which is a new show, I believe, being picked up by Sci-Fi, if I'm not mistaken, and that stars Allison Mack. It was originally a online web series, and it was immediately pulled for consumption on the Sci-Fi channel. So we'll have that panel, and of course, our usual babbling selves. So join us next time on the Fan Film Podcast.